everyone, I'm Kariba Devine, and welcome to 12 News Weekend. Each week, we take a look back at some of the most impactful and inspiring stories from our 12 News team. On today's show, we often talk about extreme heat and how it affects people, but what about native wildlife? We visit a local zoo to see how they're protecting animals during these dangerous conditions. And then, two longtime Valley columnists reflect on their careers and the state of print media after a major buyout at one of the region's largest newspaper distributors. But first, meet the rescue animal getting a second chance at life after an unexpected escape leads to a heartwarming reunion.
Roaming free at Amy's Farm Animal Sanctuary,
She's blooming like this flower.
Mutilda is living her best life.
She's really a remarkable little cow.
A life she was never supposed to have. 4-year-old Mutilda was born and raised for slaughter until she escaped.
She knew what she was running from, and boy, she ran and ran for 3 miles. In the hot sun she ran, and then she ended in the lake.
That's when the founder of the sanctuary, Amy Takaha, stepped in.
When I saw the first video of her running down the streets, I'm like, oh my gosh, she wants to live. She knew, and she escaped. She wanted to leave that slaughterhouse. She did not want to die.
Amy takes in all kinds of animals with traumatic pasts, many being left for dead.
He was living in a house where they were making drugs, and those chemicals damaged his lungs a little.
Amy called the slaughterhouse asking if she could take the cow, but it came with a price.
And he told me I had 24 hours to come up with $2,500 or she would be processed the next day. My heart sank.
Not having the money and time against her, Amy turned to social media, asking for donations. And sure enough, the community answered. About 60 people donated to save Mutilda's life, and it worked.
It fills my heart with such joy.
It's taken some time for the newest addition to get used to the change.
She was showing us fear and aggression. She didn't want to go back to the slaughterhouse.
But after about 2 weeks,
she's filling out, and she's getting shiny, and her eyes are not so fearful. She's watching kindness for the first time in her life, and she's really soaking that all up.
Even making friends.
She has a best friend, Adora Bull is his name.
Finding a home that she will live comfortably for the rest of her days.
She has such a will to survive. She's very inspirational to me, and it's just such a good feeling that she's here and safe.
In Santan Valley, Chase Golightly, 12 News.
When this place is finished, it will be home to some new tenants at the Phoenix Zoo.
The lizards we're going to be putting in, the native Sonoran Desert lizards, obviously are used to warm weather, but you know, every year it gets hotter and hotter for longer.
Lizards can't regulate their body temperature, so when it's hot, so are they. They usually just go underground or in the shade, but that's not enough anymore.
Reptiles like warm weather, but the extreme triple digits, they're not a fan of. Growing up, I never thought we would have to worry about cooling off desert reptiles, but we do.
So the desert lizards, who've survived who knows how long in the Arizona desert, are getting air conditioning.
We're going to run cold water through the concrete to keep them cooled down even more.
That's in the zoo. But what happens in the wild when it's too hot?
And as usually happens during the summer, the snakes go underground, and if it stays hot, they'll sometimes stay underground for a month or so during the hottest part of the summer. But then after the heat started to subside late in the summer and early fall, these guys didn't come up.
Mike Cardwell studies rattlesnakes for the Arizona Poison Center in Tucson. They had 2 snakes radio tagged in 2023, and then they stopped moving.
In 25 years of radio tracking a lot of rattlesnakes in the Mojave Desert and the Sonoran Desert, I never had a rattlesnake fail to emerge after being underground during the summer.
Those rattlesnakes had died. Cardwell thinks they died during a historically bad heat wave, a string of days over 110 degrees. The ground didn't cool off enough and stayed hotter than the snakes could survive. Wildlife experts say if this keeps up, and by all accounts it probably will, we're looking at a bunch of wildlife changes.
But is it entirely possible that in the future, some of these animals that we see around Phoenix aren't going to be around Phoenix anymore?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, we're headed for a direction where the climate is changing faster than species can evolve to adapt to it.
In Phoenix, William Pitts, 12 News.
In the world of underwater welding and construction, communication is everything.
Cyberspace inboard!
That's one of the biggest lessons taught here at Commercial Divers International in Goodyear, the only commercial dive school in all of Arizona.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard it, a diving school in the middle of the desert.
That's Mark Plowman, one of the owners of CDI, who has decades of experience under his belt. He says there are thousands of jobs out there for this line of work.
It's very high demanding right now. We have contractors calling us daily looking for people.
CDI offers programs where students learn skills like underwater pipe fitting, welding, underwater rigging, burning, and salvage. And they train in one of 3 21,000-gallon tanks on the campus. And while demand is high, there is a trade-off because underwater construction is often considered one of the most dangerous jobs you can do.
There's a lot of unknown variables in the water. I mean, we're in different conditions. There's weather, there's, tides, there's, sometimes there's zero visibility when you're working. Literally, you can't even see your hands in front of your face.
So they train for any situation that could come up out there on a job.
So apart from the 3 large tanks they have here on campus, they also do confined space training through this tank here, though Mark tells me he's worked in even smaller spaces than this.
CDI places an emphasis on jobs too, which is good for students like Bailey Baker, who's almost done with the program.
We're actually working on job resumes right now. I made team leader and a tier 1 diver, so usually that helps with better job placement.
His dream is to travel the world doing what's called saturation diving.
It's very deep diving. You're doing mixed gas dives. You're walking on the bottom of the ocean floor, working on pipelines.
With aging underwater infrastructure and growing marine construction, this is a job that isn't going anywhere. And for those looking to train, they can look no further than our own state.
And still ahead, the story of a woman whose legacy behind the bar continues in downtown Phoenix, one pour at a time.
An educated society has a lot of power, and I see us in the role as educators of current events. Tell me more about kind of the impact these crimes had on our community, you think? That's a huge responsibility, and I don't take it lightly. The power lies with the viewer. They're the ones who rise up and put pressure on our leaders.
It's what democracy looks like.
And I think that's one thing we do really well here at 12 News, and do so in an objective and straight down the middle way.
Troy Hayden, now on 12 News and the 12 Plus app.
It's a bright summer morning in downtown Phoenix, and Rhonda Showman is showing us part of the lobby at the Renaissance Hotel. She's walked through this hotel a lot, too many to count. She's been working here since the hotel opened in 1975.
You see me right here at front page of the newspaper, and there I am shaking a cocktail. It went to the Hilton, and then we went Hilton, Adams, Sheraton, Omni, Holiday Inn, Crowne Plaza, Wyndham, and now Marriott. So I've done 8 hotel chains on this property and never left.
She's never left, and she's also never worked anywhere but the bar.
Give it a good shake. And my first day at work, in that Playboy bunny outfit that I had to wear, I had one gentleman I waited on, and he had a Coors beer, and he gave me $1, and he said, keep the change. I made a quarter that day.
It turned out to be such a good fit, she's been here 50 years. She's kept binder after binder full of photos, newspaper clippings, and autographs from some of her most famous customers.
Priscilla Presley left Elvis for him.
Oh,
he
really?
was her karate instructor.
Each page has its own story.
He said, can I show you my tattoo? I said, he's all buffed up. I said, sure. His whole thing right here was a tattoo of Elvis Presley. Yeah.
One of her favorite is when she waited on actor Robert Mitchum during an award ceremony.
And I walked up to his table and I said, Mr. Mitchum, I'm going to be your personal server tonight, and what can I get for you? And he says, I like tequila like this. So I kept Mr. Mitchum in tequila, and then about his 8th shot, Mrs. Mitchum said, that's it.
She's fixed up drinks for some other Hollywood legends. George Burns, Carol Channing, Debbie Reynolds. There's been governors, first ladies, even a couple bank robbers, and countless hotel guests and human connection.
I don't know, I don't want to gloat or say anything, but I think that I just have a way of talking to people and bringing you in, and I guess I could say I'm genuine. I'm not a fake. So.
Rhonda has had other offers to leave bartending, and at one point she was close to leaving, but at the very last minute, she turned it down. She says this is where she belongs, 50 years in, and many more to come.
When I started here, I walked in the back door of the Adams Hotel wearing a Playboy bunny outfit, spiked high heels, and fishnet nylons. Now look at me after 50 years. I'm in orthopedic shoes, blue jeans, a girdle, and glasses. You don't get any better than that.
Over the years, 12 News has featured many top chefs from across Arizona, including James Beard winners. But today, I'm introducing you to the tiniest chef of them all. Le Petit Chef is no taller than a salt or pepper shaker, but the flavors he cooks up are larger than life.
Le Petit Chef is all over the world, especially in Europe, but this happens to be the only location in Arizona.
This is like TV on the table. Tell us about this animated dining experience.
Yeah, this is our Le Petit Chef, our 6-centimeter chef, and all of his friends. There he is. You know, he'll be getting into a lot of trouble as he builds these beautiful dishes and this beautiful burrata salad.
So you're not just serving up an amazing dinner, you're serving up a story here. Tell us about the story that we're about to explore.
We follow our little chef at his garden, and then the adventure continues. We head to the coast. We head to his chef's little backyard barbecue of sorts, to the bakery.
How does your culinary team time it so perfectly with the story?
Our team knows exactly when to go. You know, we swarm serve and sort of surprise our guests with the food in the perfect timing and with the animations. We've got it down to the second.
Why was the Arizona Biltmore the perfect place to bring this internationally acclaimed experience to us here in the Valley?
We are definitely known for our luxury service and and a really talented culinary team.
What makes this Phoenix version so special?
We definitely put our local Arizona touch on the food. You know, a lot of local ingredients and Southwest-inspired flavors.
That Wagyu might be a little too done, but your team has it perfect.
That is correct. We have a perfect medium rare New York Wagyu steak. We've made it to our bakery as chef here is preparing a really wonderful Meyer lemon creme brulee for us, garnished with a little fresh fruit, that strawberry meringue, and a little Arizona Biltmore honey crumble.
I'm ready for dessert. Bon appetit! In Phoenix, Crystal Long, 12 News.
Exercises like this have become routine for Matt Tatum.
Just trying to get the strength back.
The strength he lost after his active lifestyle as a Phoenix police sergeant, a baseball player, and a traveler finally took a toll on his knee.
My left knee would just kind of be achy. I just happened to be out playing baseball again, and I felt it kind of go out on me. I was thinking that it was maybe meniscus or something kind of minor that I can be in and out in like 3 weeks.
Instead, doctors found more than 2 centimeters of damaged cartilage, and fixing it meant waiting for a donor match to replace the tissue.
And it was going to be 12 months of not playing sports, not mountain biking, not hiking, not doing my regular job the way I'm used to. It's hard.
But to Matt's surprise, there was a faster option.
It's an exciting project to make it easier and much more availability for something and someone such as him.
Dr. Thomas Carter enrolled Matt in a study using cartilage grafts stored at ultra-low temperatures. That keeps the cells healthy longer, so it can be used right away instead of waiting for fresh donor tissue, which expires in weeks.
If you have it available, you can say, okay, here's a young man, he's got a defect. Let's go put that in right away before the knee deteriorates even more.
The goal, the same repair, but in a shorter amount of time. And so far, nearly 3 months after surgery, Matt says it's worked.
It's been great. Honestly, I've had 2 x-rays that have come back really good, very, very positive. Like this week especially, feel really good.
As the first patient in this clinical study, he says he hopes it opens the door for others.
Anytime that we can do this a little bit quicker and get people back to normal life, I mean, it's just exciting.
And a promising step in a procedure that could change how knee injuries are treated. Reporting in Phoenix, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
12 News and 12 Plus keep you in the loop by reporting more from the rapidly growing West Valley.
We're outside Surprise City Hall.
More homes, jobs, and unexpected challenges expanding west.
In Peoria, they'll have the resources ready.
12 News, dedicated to the West Valley.
Explosive is one word for what's happening.
West Valley in the Loop on 12 News and streaming on 12 Plus. Download on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices.
Meet Lori Roberts and Elvia Diaz. The two spent a combined 69 years writing and editing at the Arizona Republic.
So this is the site right here, right?
They and several of their colleagues accepted a buyout from Gannett, the Republic's owner. Gannett, which also owns USA Today, is cutting costs company-wide by $100 million. The two women decided it was time to move on. I sat down with them at 200 East Van Buren, a place they called home for decades. Each, in her own way, was a trailblazer. Roberts was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, the highest honor in journalism, in 2001. She was also the paper's politics editor. Her team's investigations led to the impeachment in 1988 of then-Governor Evan Mecham.
So I handpicked a team throughout the newsroom, and I've always been proud of the fact that we broke each and every one of the stories that led to his impeachment, all of the corruption.
Diaz, an immigrant in 2022, became the first Latina to run the editorial page since the Republic was founded in 1890.
I'm proud to represent Latinos and Latinas, but you're talking to someone who came from a small village in Mexico that only listened to radio, to not having a cell phone, to having a cell phone, to having a computer, to then having to type in a different language.
Both women had plenty of critics and supporters for their political views as columnists.
People would write a letter to the editor critical of you, and it was like they wrote it in church because it's very, very circumspect and it's critical, but in a scholarly way. Online is like a bar fight.
We're not here to be loved, you know, and be liked. So criticism is part of the job. As a journalist, you have to be able to take it. And if you're not, then it is not a job for you.
I also asked them about balancing their careers and home life.
I'm sure that I missed things, but I also had an opportunity for both of my boys to see that you can be a mother and you can be a professional, a working professional, whether it's in journalism or something else. I like to think that I gave them a pretty good role model of what a woman can be.
My daughter did have to come here after school and be with me, you know, until whenever. When I was covering the legislature, she will literally sleep under the desk if I had long hearings, you know, until 10 o'clock. I mean, this is a child that was in middle school, right? In high school, she would not dare go, right? or elementary school. So that's tough. It is really tough, you know, but you got to do it, right? She remembers that. She still remembers sleeping under, you know, under my desk.
As for their futures?
I'm hungry for something else. I can't just rest and say, oh, you know, I already did 25 years of my life writing. Well, this is just the beginning of something else.
Oh, I got a date with my swimming pool later today. I feel like I'm way behind. For now, I'm gonna take a few months off and breathe and find out if there's life after journalism.
Mike is a modern day miracle.
There's no explanation.
It's like a mystery right now to try to figure out how he got where he got.
How can someone survive 3 nights in the northern Arizona woods without food or water? But 74-year-old Mike Johnson did.
We were losing hope that we weren't going to find him alive.
Close family friend Christy Day tells me Johnson got lost while off-roading near his summer home in Heber.
He's been on those roads 1,000 times. He knows them like the back of his hand.
With no phone to call for help, Johnson was forced to spend several nights in the wilderness, lighting fires for warmth.
And look for any disturbances, shoot tracks.
Meanwhile, search and rescue teams made up of law enforcement, family, friends, and strangers endlessly looked for Johnson by foot and by air. It was a DPS helicopter that eventually found Johnson unconscious in a field about 1 mile from where hunters found his off-roading vehicle. A huge sigh of relief for the dozens of people searching for him.
It was very scary, but so relieved that he was alive.
Family credits Johnson's wilderness skills for keeping him warm and safe.
He is an avid outdoorsman and hunter. He's done it his entire life.
But still believes surviving 3 nights alone in the woods is nothing short of a miracle.
The Lord's hand was in this, 100%.
During the month of September, here in Arizona, we lose an average of about 2 minutes of daylight every day. Yes, our long summer days are slowly slipping away, and by the end of the month, you'll definitely see and feel the difference. Here's why. If you're an early riser, you probably notice the sunrise is getting later and later in the morning. The sun is also setting earlier in the evening. That happens every year because the Earth itself is tilted as it orbits around the sun. And twice a year, we reach the balance point that marks the start of fall. During the month of September, we steadily march toward the fall equinox. That is the moment when the sun's rays shine directly over the equator. It also gives us equal amounts of daylight and nighttime, about 12 hours of each. And by the way, that word equinox means equal night because of the equal daylight and the equal amount of nighttime that we have during the equinox. This year in Phoenix, fall officially begins with the equinox at 11:19 a.m. on September 22nd. Here's how this change will impact you. Right now, the sun rises just after 6 a.m., but by mid-November, it won't peak above the horizon until 7 a.m. And sunsets, they pull back quickly too, from almost 7 p.m. at the start of September to about 6 p.m. by the start of October. Now here's something that may surprise you. The sun is actually closer to Earth in September than it was in June or July. That's because the Earth's orbit around the sun isn't a perfect circle, and it brings us about 3 million miles closer to the sun during the winter months. So why does the summer feel so hot if we're farther away from the sun? It's all about the Earth's tilt. In June and July, the northern hemisphere leans towards the sun, giving us more direct rays and longer days, even with the sun farther away. Oh, and if you love our Arizona sunsets, the good news is this. With the earlier evenings, you won't have to wait as long to catch those colorful skies.
Thanks for watching, and just a reminder, new episodes of 12 News Weekend premiere every Friday on 12+. You can also watch past episodes on the app. All you have to do is download 12+ for your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku, and you can watch for free. I'm Kadiva Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.